Let me just tell you guys what I'm hearing so far, okay? What I'm hearing is that there's Chicago, there's something about Chicago's DIY culture that's so Chicago. We're talking about the violence topic that, Salome is talking about.
We have a project that collaborates with between 25 and 30 different organizations. And young people in these different organizations are looking at and finding solutions to violence as it most affects them. How youth media is helping young people to cope with, to survive and thrive in war zones. And violence is interpreted differently depending upon the identity focus of the organization, if it's gender-based, if it's community, if it's family, whatever, but like every young person we know across the city is struggling with violence in some way or another.
I think that there's something very wonderful that happens when they realize that there's another way than to be violent or to be mean or closed-minded or dangerous. That there's, and then I see it happening constantly in all of our groups. It's revolutionary.
The common sort of thread here that I'm hearing is that, that map is a collaborative map. It's like collectively authored. Chain of Change is a collectively authored project. And I think that, that kind of like goes back to our network in the way that we are starting to kind of connect across organizations, because all youth are dealing with violence in Chicago. So it's not a organizational issue that you can't kind of, carve out. We do work about violence. It's really important.
Everybody is, because they have to.
I think what's so Chicago is that despite the fact that we have these really, really bad obstacles of getting past boundaries and gang territories and things like that, that wherever we've set up shop, that is the safest place for that kid to be.
Parents or adults in general in these neighborhoods, they don't see all of the great work that they're able to accomplish through all of your organizations. So when you talk about addressing violence, that ties back for me from a sociological perspective to safe passage or safe place. But parents don't make that connection. It's I'm working, I got other things to do. As long as you're over there doing something productive, and I don't have to worry about it. And it's not to blame parents, but there needs to be an awareness. And I think from a Chicago perspective, maybe that's something we can bring to the forefront and start making parents more aware of what is going on with you and why they choose to use media as a way to get their voices out.
And I realized what's so special about it is that for these kids, they didn't believe me that I was going to pay them for these articles. They've never been told that their intellectual output is worth like cash money. That's like a big deal.
Exactly.
And that's magical to me, because then they're like, wait a second. So not only as a journalist, I get to go to someone in a position of power, ask them a whole bunch of questions about what they do and how they do it, making them accountable to me, but I also get paid for that. That changes the way that they think of what they're... Yeah.